Right, yogi. So we're going to start standing at the top of your mat. So just always take it at your own pace, all right? You stand up nice and tall here. You start to breathe deep and just tune into your body, as always. So you think posture, breathing, setting an intention. Closing your eyes, starting to feel the sensations of your body. Start to connect to the breath, breathing deep and slow in and out the nose. Maybe adding things like a breath hold or a chant, an om on your own here. So the classic Hatha Yoga starts with some sun salutation. And what that represents is, hinging, bending over, stepping back and forward, back bending and forward bending, but it's very forward and back, all right? So ideally we do about 5 rounds on our own pace. Some days you're moving a little faster, some days a little slower, some days you're pausing, some days you continuously move. Whenever you're ready, yogis, let's start this breathing and moving the body. On your inhale, the reaches our arms up. I like to add a little back bend, so a little tension through the front body, and then a nice exhale, forward bend. Okay, inhale, we half lift. Then you step back to your plank posture. Bend the elbows. I think everyone knows the sun salutation. Inhale, the back bend. Exhale, the forward bend. Notice I say the back bend and the forward bend because it could be soft, it could be strong. It could be child pose, it could be down dog. Couple more breaths here in your down dog. And if you're just joining, we're doing sun salutation. It's been a week or two since we've done any, right? On your inhale, bend the knees, look forward. You're going to make your way to the front of the mat on the exhale. Then you inhale, half lift or reverse hinge. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, posture. So let's do 4 more rounds with your breath. The breath guides the movement. I'm adding a few extra push-ups this round. Still staying with Cobra 1 today for me, a little sore, did some strong workout yesterday. Maybe pause and down dog for just a breath or 2 now, just so we can keep it moving. Again, I'm not cueing you right now. I'm trying to get you to kind of move based on what your body is telling you. So I just finished my second round. We got 3 more. Each time I notice my body is changing, so I approach the sun salutation different by each moment, what I'm feeling. Remember to step your opposite foot back. I'm moving a little faster now for my body. Remember to always work on stepping an opposite foot forward as well. Notice your patterns. Don't forget to add anything if you want, okay? The sun salutation A is like a template. First movement to get you warmed up. If you're just joining, we're doing some sun salutations, a little bit of a self-practice right now. So I'm kind of cueing you in a little bit different way. Okay, I've done 4 rounds. One more round for me. All right, so finish up the last round, neat and standing. Unless you want to keep going, that's fine. There are some yoga practices on certain times of the year where you do extended sun salutations. The equinoxes, special holidays for you. Okay, so we're going to do 3 rounds of Sun B. We're getting back to a traditional Hatha approach. Remember, Sun B is basically warrior 1 or lunge and chair. All right, 3 rounds only. Whenever you're ready, you're standing. Take a big inhale and exhale. The first inhale brings you to chair. The exhale brings you back to your forward fold. Same from here. Inhale, half lift. You get the optional chaturanga, or just step back to dog. You can add an extra inhale, lift your leg up. I like to add that, feels good to me. But the traditional version, you just step right forward. Okay? You exhale the right foot forward. You inhale up into the first lunge. I like to take a first, extra breaths here. It's not really traditional, but I like to get the lunge. You feel it for a few moments. Then you take it down to your vinyasa chaturanga, movement to low plank. You come back to dog eventually, and you lift the left leg up. Eventually, you step the left foot forward. Inhale back up to your second side of your lunge. And then you take it down to the vinyasa. You find yourself back in dog, and then you take an inhale, bend your knees, look forward, make your way back to the front of the mat. Inhale, we half lift. Exhale, we forward fold again. Inhale back to your chair. Exhale, standing position. Round 2, a little faster for you. If you can, go on your own, please. It really is a fantastic warm-up here, guys. So I'm not cueing you. Your breath is leading movement. Who cares if you do it perfect? I'm now taking warrior 1 in my second round. As you get more warmed up, yogis, remember initially I like to suggest kind of like pausing and slowing down, kind of feeling poses. But remember, really, it's more of a movement practice, and that the postures are really just giving it structure. You want to think of it more like a dance where you're kind of moving through this space, and there's no extra like focus anywhere. It's all kind of moving into another space. It is structured because it's warm up, but it doesn't have to look any certain way in particular. All right. So last round, one more round of sun salutations, please. Hopefully you're feeling a little body temperature increase. Your body's starting to feel a little bit more open if it was feeling tight, because this is all dynamic stretching. All right.
The way I do it in my own practice is usually I break down sun salutations when I'm getting warmed up. I'll kind of do some like up downs, like the Kriya, the Surya, and then I'll do like the half lifts a few times, right? And then I'll take some push ups or hold plank, and then I'll do some just chaturangas, and then I'll work on some, lunges. So I usually break it down into parts. I kind of just prefer that personally. But this is also fantastic too, right? It's putting it all together. All right, so you finish up your round. If you want to do a few extra, that's fine. I just don't want to spend too much time because this is only an hour class. What do they say? Warm ups about like maybe 10 minutes. So we're already pretty much at that point.
I do want to give you one kind of warm-up stretch here, and the legs go in their first big abduction or straddle. So it's the first big kind of like coronal movement, all right? So you eventually, once you're standing, no rush getting there, guys. You open your feet nice and wide. Your toes are parallel. It's called straddle forward fold. You can bring your hands on your hips. You can bring your hands behind you. You guys know the deal here. You bend your knees and you kind of reach for the floor, your feet. Couple breaths here. Either, again, pulling on the ankles is a real nice one. Just try to press the big toe down a little bit and lean the weight into your toes more.
If you're already feeling good, right, you'd go for a handstand at the wall, boom, right away. You wouldn't stretch here. If you're feeling good, you go to headstand. You don't need to approach it the same every day. I often have started practice in headstand, long hold, no warm up, boom, in it, and I'm really warmed up after that hold. So if you're feeling good, handstand right at the wall, boom. You did your chaturangas, you're ready. You did your dogs, you did your cobras, so the shoulders are warmed up front back. Simple thing is to, if you're doing a warm up, say you're going to squat, you just warm up front and back body. You need some transverse maybe, but you can do it with just warming up that same plane of movement. Okay.
Let's keep it going, guys. Let's inhale back up, please. Now I stay with the legs abducted. I just rotate. So first big rotational, especially if you didn't do warrior one, the right toes turn out, the left toes turn to the right. So it's called warrior two in yoga. Let's do Ashtanga style. It's 5 deep breaths. Let's figure a 3-second inhale, a 3-second exhale, which means a 6-second breath, a 30-second hold.
Okay. So it's not going to be that long. So it's not short either. So you can get a little deeper and work into the integrity of your form, the alignment, some people call it. You starts with the feet, all the poses. You're pressing your feet down, particularly the big toe and the outer edge of the foot. Notice if like your back heel might be lifting. So all parts of the feet ground down and you squeeze your legs together, right? You're working on engaging your back thigh, which straightens your left knee here. You're bending your front knee. You're turning your left hip in. That's an internal rotation. You're turning your right hip out. You're lengthening your side bodies. It's a slight tuck of your tailbone, relaxing your shoulders back and down. And then you're gazing over that right hand. There's 30 seconds already. Let's slowly switch sides. So you try to keep your arms there if you can. No big deal if you can't. You bend your left knee here. You turn your right toes in, straighten your right leg. Boom. You're right in it with minimal unnecessary stuff in between. And then you're right into that meditation self-study. In Hatha Yoga, we start with the first 5 bodies. They're called the koshas. The physical body is the first layer of the study. The energetic body, which starts with really your breath, is the second body study. All right. And then these 2 bodies start to link and calm and center. And then you're starting to study the mental or the thought body. Thought body's next. So once you get good at the poses, the alignment, and then you get good at the breath, you start to notice what the postures and the challenges do to the thoughts and what the breath can change the thoughts. And that's going to control the emotions better. That's the subconscious or the 4th body. So you're holding that warrior 2. It's the last about 8 seconds here. And you go really deep into that front knee for the last moment. We're going to get moving here in a moment again. I just want to keep you here for now in a couple still postures. All right, straighten the left leg. Now listen, warrior two first side. So it's a side angle posture. If you know it, you can kind of go right into it. It's warrior two legs, okay? Palms face forward, you reach out and you hinge. Now easier version, notice my heel, right shoulder, right elbow are stacked, left arm is up. You can reach it forward, you can bring your hand on the block or the floor if you're feeling good. I push the knee into the elbow into the knee, and I turn up. I lengthen the side bodies. You can do a half bind for our shoulder opener. Left hand around on the inner right thigh. All right. If you know how to do full bind or hand outside your foot, which is more of the full pose, hand starts in the foot, beginner. Hand goes outside the foot, intermediate. So now your knee has to push out into your arm rather than inward into the arm when it's inside. So that changes. Big adduction to abduction. That's weird at first when you're new to it. Okay. All right, and we're my clock here, we're already at about 30 seconds. All right, second side, so you can go intensity and not have to think about endurance right now. Second side, side angle, left toes turn out, right toes turn in. Warrior two, palms turn forward and reach and hinge. Yep, everyone knows it. And on a good day, you wouldn't put your hands on the floor. It would all be more active. Remember, really, guys, we are working more towards leg core activations and not allowing arms down to get lazy in core or legs. You know, the beginner is going to do that a lot. You're going to put your hand down and try to disengage your legs in your core. That's really not recommended long term. We're working to use our legs and core in all these postures. All right. Last about 10 seconds or so. Remember that side angle is kind of like triangle, but it's a really deep bend knee. All right, so we are trying to bend the knee deeper, let's say here, if you tend to start to straighten it. Okay, but no big deal, you know, it's your call. All right, so that's pretty good there. See how fast these holds go, guys. Now listen, we go for one more posture here. So you turn your toes forward. Now, traditionally, you're gonna say warrior one foot, but that's very restricting. I like to have you pivot on the ball of the back foot. Now it's either left hand down, right arm up, hands in prayer, or elbow outside the thigh, okay? They're both a variation of our revolve side angle. Either way, lengthen your core, turn your core up to the right. Easy version is with the back knee down, just in case you're, you know, sore or didn't sleep well or hungover, one of those big, you know, things that don't make you feel your best. You would probably want to take it easier. If your body's low on energy and didn't rest well, you might just want to not, you know, conserve energy in the exercise. If you're really charged, feeling well, you push it. You take advantage of good days, you back off a little and be kind to your body when it's not feeling great. It's kind of like, you know, a little kid's not feeling great today, you gotta be a little soft on them, right? And then when they're feeling good, you can push them a little harder, okay? Now, when you're ready, side revolve, side angle. Okay, big first twist here through the whole body. You pivot to the side to the second side. So you lunge with the left leg forward. Is a very classic yoga start you guys are doing here. And then you hinge and you rotate, either right hand on the block or the floor inside the foot. Your left arm would go out and up because your left leg's in front of you. Okay, so this is what we call like a closed rotation, where a side angle would be like an open, sometimes people call rotation. And then you take 3 to 4 deep breaths still, maybe 20 seconds, right? You know, some days you'd move more in practice, some days you'd be still. You know, if you happen to come in and you wish we were moving, it's okay if you need to move a little bit. I get it. Some days I do a lot of static positions, a lot of isometric contractions. Like I'll do pull-ups, but then sometimes I'll just like hold the L pull-up. I'll just hold. It's like a static. It just depends on how I'm feeling, you know. There's not like a better answer. If you always move, you should be still. If you're always still, you should move. That's a good general rule. Rise up, yogis. So you do one more straddle here, and ideally it's like a different bind. You could go headstand, handstand, boom. You go again, you go inversions. But if you're feeling a little tired, you just, you know, take your hands on your blocks and you forward fold. It's after the asymmetrical legs And after the asymmetrical core, so it's like laterals and shoulder binds, rotations of hips and spine, you just neutralize symmetrically. So you turn your feet parallel and then you hinge, you calm your nervous system in the forward bend. Forward bends, calm nervous system after the strain of the lunges. Okay, last few moments here. It's only 30 seconds. A lot of times you go into this style of practice, teacher will just say, you know, cue, you say the posture, you do it, and then teacher walks around and just like corrects individually, right? Slowly come up. It's called triangle. We'll start with triangle and we'll just do pyramid. And since it's an hour class, we're going to do pyramid second with the revolve. Right toes turn out. It's basically the same patterns of movement, guys, but done in straight leg. So you get bigger tilts. Palms forward, right hip down. My feet are still pretty wide. I don't want to see those feet too close. I want to lengthen out, engage the legs, and then find your triangle posture, please. Remember, same thing. Really, the posture, you don't put your hands down, okay? You're working core and legs, leaning the upper body back, turning the chest open. Breathe in. Okay, I can do like a little movement. My right inner thigh was feeling very tight right now. So I was doing this like little movement. You know, sometimes we pulse and crunches or leg lifts. I kind of do that in my core here. I don't like the word pulse, but it's like a very small up, down in the range of movement we're training, which is here a lateral tilt, lateral hinge, huge abduction, lateral rotations. Any yoga posture you do, you can move in and out of, and you can pulse in it too, and like multiple frames of the range. Just remember that, okay? Triangle second side, that's 30 seconds on my clock. Slowly come up, boom, a meditative movement right into your second side. You might have to adjust your footing. Your hips aren't same side to side. You know, they've done those like the joint analysis is where they show the pictures. Some people's like right hip socket is like down, outward more, and their left hip socket, let's just for example, is like forward, up more. You know, some people's hip sockets are like super different side to side. Does not need to be the same. Try to find your path of least resistance into your position. You might as well make it easier on the body. And now you work the strength, and that's the challenge, rather than have to force through, you know, an anatomical structural range. So the make it easy on your body applies to the path of least resistance into range. It doesn't apply to the pose itself, okay? Last few seconds here. Okay, when you're done, you did both sides triangle, right? I'm just trying to let you have like your own practice right now. We're gonna do pyramid into triangle. So this is our first like longer hold. You're gonna pivot your feet to face the right. My left hip is moving forward. My left toe's angle open, right? Right hip back. You want more? Left arm up. You want a lot? Both arms up. It's called pyramid posture. Think of it like a splits. Engage your thighs, start to hinge. Okay? Lengthen your core with practice. Hands can stay hovering, or if you're ready, hands can go on the floor. Just pull your right hip back. Inhale, lengthen your chest, start to forward fold. That's already 10, 15 seconds in the posture, right? So the transition here is part of the posture. I've had you work just transitions in and out of the hinge, and sometimes we kind of just focus on the posture. Now, the second part, I want you to save some energy. We inhale, half lift. So you're attempting to bring your spine parallel to the floor like we did in sun salutation. Your left hand goes down on your block of the floor. There's a tough one. You turn your navel out to the right, up, right arm might go out and up. Everyone knows this one, only 30 seconds. So you can work here, guys. You're trying to straighten that right leg, engaging your right muscle, the muscles above the right knee engage and lift. Revolve triangle, such a beautiful pose. Big release through the whole body, okay? So what we do here, guys, is slowly come back through like a pyramid, and then you rise up skillfully, and then you turn to the side, you turn to face your left leg. So you're basically setting up your second side of pyramid position, left foot in front of you. Remember, your back toes do open a little. I know teachers say heel to heel alignment. I don't really like that cue, especially for anyone who's tight. Path of least resistance to start. So your feet are hips width distance. Your back foot is turned out. Your front foot is forward. It's not open to the side, your back foot, it's angled. Okay. Left hand, left hip back, inhale, lift, and then you hinge, which means you don't round your spine. It all happens at the hips. Your spine stays long and almost extended, which means back bended. All right. And you can pause halfway for the whole challenge. You never even need to forward fold. A lot of days I won't forward fold here. I will just work the strength. What happened to me, I got like over flexible. And a lot of you might not think you're over flexible, but some of you are more flexible than strong, which means you should have a strength-based practice. Okay. I was over strong, so I really worked flexibility for a while. And then I was over flexible. I'm in like a middle ground right now. I'm almost like too tight now. Okay. You inhale, half lift, and the main pose I really want you to work here is revolve triangle. So really focus here, go into it. All right. Left arm out and up. Left hip back, big toes press down, heels press down, legs engage, but also relax. That's the key. You're really working here to lengthen and activate, but also be easy and soft. Last 10, 15 seconds. I always feel like these traditional practices, they're more grounding and centering. You don't know, what are we doing now? This feels weird and awkward. It's ground you're familiar with, all right? And you can measure progress through repetition. Top hand down, bend front knee a little if you need. Let's rise up. Listen, we pivot to the side, and then you step forward to the front of your mat. You take a little neutral, so instead of doing the forward fold here, it's the yogi squat. You might want a little back bend here. You can always add something to release. That's not really done in traditional yoga though, all right? Yogi squat. Now, we are going into like arm bearing territory and active back bends. So, you could do a crow here, but we are hitting side planks. So, if you need side planks and dolphin and potentially like a forearm balance. So just so you're aware, all right? Last few moments here. You can push your knees open, lift your heart. You can add things if you want. Even though we're doing a basic kind of structured linear practice, you can still add. Okay, don't be shy now. Okay, big inhale, please. You're going to lift your hips, step back to plank posture when you're ready. So that's a 30-second hold. You're going to shift weight to your left hand first today, please. Side plank. Remember, I've shown half side plank. It's not with the knee down. It is more with your forearm down and your shin knee down. So your knee is not under your hip in half side plank. Your knee is out extended. All right, so I'm like really sore today, so I'm doing a little less demoing. Ended up playing basketball, then doing all like weighted lunge walks and weighted squats last night. Felt pretty good, so I went strong, which means I'm pretty stiff today. Okay, nice job. It's about 30 seconds. I didn't look at the timer there, but second side. You work for your body. If 30 seconds isn't enough, there's no reason to exit. Who knows, maybe you're still on triangles because it wasn't long enough for your body today. There's no reason to leave because I said it. When you do Ashtanga, which is kind of what we're doing now, I said it earlier, guys, it starts by the teacher just kind of cueing you the poses. And then you know the cues already. But then what happens is the teacher doesn't cue anything. You guys would all be practicing, and I'd be walking around looking at everyone, just helping individually. But I'm not talking eventually, you're just doing your practice, okay? So we are gonna do 2 rounds of this, but I wanna work something in between, all right? So you're gonna finish up your second side of the side plank based on your strength today. And then what you're gonna do is come to forearm plank. I wanna go back into shoulders. We didn't really hold dog. And I think I saw only 1 or 2 of you doing like a headstand or handstand. So now you're on your forearms. You walk your elbows, feet towards your elbows. It's called Dolphin. It's an overhead hold. Remember shoulder press? It's one of the best exercises for strengthening your shoulders, or let's say to gain muscle mass fastest. This is kind of like one of our shoulder presses, right? So hold position. If it's easy, right leg rises. If that's easy, a little hop up onto the wall or in the center of the room for your forearm balance. If not, hold Dolphin. So I'm breaking this down a little different. We've done this quite a bit before. It's side planks into overhead shoulders, side body shoulders, and it's back body. So it's going to be locust. Okay. And I like to mix it up so we don't over fatigue on any chain. It's like a circuit training. If you've ever done that, you do squats, then you do push-ups, then you do jumping jacks, and then you do lunges. So you're not like hitting anything too much in a row. All right. Now listen, we lower down to the chest after our first round, and I want you to get a solid locust in here. So I want our arms wide here because that's a back fly. I don't want arms forward. We already did that. Okay. Even though arms wide seems like side plank, same body, it's back more. So you widen your arms and you reach your legs back. Take your time. This is tough right now. You lift everything up here. Try to lift your legs via your hips. Don't crank the neck too much now. And you pull the belly in a little here too. You lift the arms, straighten the arms. The palms are face down, so we have external rotation in the shoulders. Try to point your toes and straighten the knee by engaging the thigh muscle. They call that triple extension, guys. It's hip extension, right? So your femur bone's going back. It's knee extension, your knees straightening, and you're pointing your toe. That's really more plantar flexion, but some people call it extension. That's called the triple extension of the leg. It's like the dancer leg. Okay. Take one more inhale, lift a little higher, trying to go for about 30 seconds. I went a little longer in Dolphin, all right, because some of you are getting in a little slow there. We'll come back we'll lower down, and you take a child pose for a moment, just to kind of recalibrate after the arm bearing. So you basically know what's going to happen. It's side plank, side plank. You can add flip dog, you can add fallen triangle, you can add movements into Dolphin, or really forearm balance hold or handstand. And then it's a locust. All right. So 3 postures. 1 is 2-sided. So side plank when you're ready. I'm telling you, yogis, side plank is just so fantastic. If you want to increase full body, particularly upper body strength really fast, side plank. It does it well. Work on engaging your butt though. I said side plank's good for full body, and then I corrected myself saying upper body, but it really is supposed to be full body. Just a lot of people don't activate their legs and their butt and their core that well here. It's like shoulder trauma at first. And it's in the end, it's like you don't feel it in your shoulder that much. It's a lot more of the core work. All right. Which means butt, core, abs. All right. So second side when you're ready, please. No rush. Some of you are ahead of me. Some of you look like you were still in that first side. Just breathe, yogis. What's interesting about the self-led practice, I mentioned it's like more the advanced style where there's less instruction, and it's like the room is open for 3 hours and you can come in anytime the first like hour and a half and start your practice. And the teacher's there for 3 hours, and just, some people are starting sun salutations, but some people are ending. So, I'm just walking around wherever people are at. I'm like helping, giving some cues and just personal instruction. It's a really nice style of practice once you get there. So third part's the Dolphin. Some of you are already there, right? Some of you look like you're resting, and that's totally fine. You need to sit and meditate. That's fine. Okay, so it's one big overhead hold, which means your arms are above, either Dolphin, dog, down dog. One leg would be left leg lifts in either pose, and handstand and forearm stand work here as well. Okay, so come on now, last good 30 seconds here. And some of you are ahead, some of you are in locust. That's great. Just do your thing, all right? Nice, Brian. Hold that handstand. Nice dawn, looking good, everyone. Oh yeah, nice long hold there. And you might notice like, ooh, I need to work my back body more today, right? You do extra locust then. That's why I'm trying to give you some freedom. How can you get better at adapting our practices to your needs currently? Don't trust me too much, yogis. I know the body well, but I just give you a very kind of structured template. You got to get better at recognizing what your body needs and applying the practice accordingly. I don't do all these postures every day. I didn't do a lot of back. I did a lot of back. It's just an example. I didn't do a lot of back body yesterday. I do a lot of back body today. Okay. If I notice my front body's getting imbalanced, too much massage, I'm doing all pulls. That's what I need to do. What do you need to do? Okay. So you do your final locust, please. Some of you are all done, right? It shouldn't be a stretchy back bend. It's more tightening after the laterals. It's very structured right now because the triangles, the revolved, side angles, they're all very asymmetrical, and then you tighten up everything. All right, because we got one more big round of those. Really, it's supposed to be two, but see how much time we got. Might be able to do it. All right. So listen, you take a quick child pose. You center yourself for a few moments. It's called a mid-class meditation. You take a minute here to just kind of calm center. Breathe smooth, deep in and out your nose, maybe an om. A lot of times, like I practiced yesterday at the Bay Club, I actually did quite a good amount of yoga. And I usually do yoga practice like every day in some form, right? But it's like a part of it. And I'll like be in child pose and I'll do like my hums. I'll vibrate the sinuses. And I always mix that in. I just do it soft too. I'm in around people, no one can really hear me. Okay, so listen, we're back in dog. No rush. That wasn't quite a minute, but eventually you come back to down dog. And then we're going to go for our final standing postures. Now, the first tier would be warrior 3, half moon, revolve, half moon. Second tier is standing toe bind, open hip trivikram, and revolve Shiva. All right, so let's see what we can do. Make your way to the top of your mat skillfully, and let's stand up, please.
Now, I do want to break this one down into 3 parts, whereas triangle, we did kind of 2 parts, but it's 30 seconds only. So you work integrity and quality. Teach your body the quality you desire, okay? Open your feet wide. It's the same thing. It's this pivoting side to side. Classic Hatha Yoga, okay? Pivot to the right. It's called Warrior 3. If you want to add binds, you could add something like reverse prayer, eagle, remember which arm's on the bottom, or Gomukhasana, remember which arm's on top. Okay, I'll stay in Gomukhasana, feels like a nice shoulder stretch to me right now, and then boom, with my right leg down, I lift my left leg. I got you on the clock.
It's only 30 seconds, yogis, so you work. Sometimes you go in a yoga class, they hold you forever there. It's torture. Not today, okay? It's already over, you're about halfway almost already, guys. Drop that top hip down. That's the main cue here. Don't round your spine. Lift the top leg. Straighten the legs more with strength. Okay, that's 30 seconds. You slowly switch sides. You land your left foot back and you pivot. You switch up your arms, or if you're doing reverse prayer, you just do another round. I love reverse prayer. I'm warming up for exercise. I kind of like walk around in it. It's an active reciprocal inhibition. Okay. So go ahead. You got your warrior 3. When I see most people in it, I will start the clock. All right. Clock's on. Now you work in your body and your breath, feeling. Some people like to say correcting, but it's not my favorite cue. Like, you're not really doing something wrong because you can't do it a certain way right now. Okay, you are increasing self-awareness. Like, what am I doing? What's my body doing without me noticing? And how can I make this more, let's say, intentional or intelligent? Almost there. Okay, that's 30 seconds on my clock. Okay, now listen, we go straight for half moon. So you want to come through a warrior 2. You pivot to the side. You guys know this. You bend your right knee, turn your right toes out. And then you tiptoe your left foot toward your right foot. You start to hinge laterally. Right hand might find the block. A lot of more advanced practitioners in here. So you hover your right hand. It's called full moon. Chandra. The posture is Chandra. Ardha Chandra is the beginner. It's just like I said, half side plank. You're working toward full side plank. You're working towards hovering your right hand. Remember, your hips are turned open. Your left hip's more on top of your right. Your left toes face kind of in front of you. So it's half moon posture. Go ahead. Yeah, some of you are taking your time. Go ahead. I haven't started the clock yet. I will now. And maybe half moon's a little too much for you today. You do another round of warrior two. That's fine. Maybe you need to drop down on the knee. Remember how we do it on our tabletop? You turn the foot out behind you, and it's like a side plank, the one I mentioned earlier, but it's more like half moon on the knee. You can do that too, guys. No big deal. You can do revolve side plank moon down there too. It's all right. Half moon's a tough pose, guys. All right, that's about 30 seconds. Everyone was, some people were in it, and then some people were still not in it yet, about, extra 15 seconds there. So that's all right. We're starting to fatigue, right? So your second side of your half moon today. Good job. I see a lot of you is taking your time getting in. You're slowing down transition still, all right? Okay, you're on the clock. A few years are in there. Come on, work now. Remember, we're lifting the top leg. Try not to you're working on leaning your upper body back, pulling your lower abdomen in. Don't let the abdomen hang out, okay? That's something you got to be resilient with, at least in the beginning. I know a lot of teachers say relax your abdomen, but you got to be careful with that. That's going to drag into the lower back. They don't know their biomechanics there. If you're prone to letting your abdomen hang out, you should be pulling it in. Last few moments. Looks good, everyone. Some of you are doing your Chapasanas and your more advanced versions. I'm skipping the cues today, okay? That's self-practice. Now, we got one more big posture here. It's the revolve version, just like triangle side angles. Now we hold the big revolve. So you pivot to face the right. It's lunge with your right foot in front of you, right? Your hands come in prayer on your hips. You hinge, warrior three. Hands go on floor on the blocks to start underneath your shoulders. You elongate. It's like your inhale, half lift, just like the pyramid, just like the sun salutation. You inhale, half lift. And then from your core in your warrior three, you guys know what to do. If your right leg's down, you twist to the right. Right arm might go out and up. So if your right leg's down, your left leg's lifting back. Looks good, everyone. And it doesn't have to be a big twist some days, yogis. Some days we've had the hands behind the head and we've just twisted a little bit, micro twist. Last a good 15 seconds. Nice, Brian. Nice, Steven. Everyone looking good. Nice, Julia. That's perfect. And maybe you do Gomukhasana. You do middle lunge, you're hinged and you turn. You don't even lift the back leg, or you lift a little bit. It's okay. Okay, second side. You see how fast that goes? And you do your second side. You pivot to face the left, lunge. You skillfully find your way to warrior three. You might take your hands on the blocks on a high setting underneath your shoulders. And then you lengthen half lift. You lift that left leg so you find a really quality warrior three. And from there, you turn your navel to the left. Your left hip's pulling back. Your shoulder blades still go back and down the spine, guys. Last few breaths here, about 15, 20 seconds. When you're done, warrior three, lunge, and let's step back. All right, so I think that's good for standing, guys. That's the first tier. We would do something like this next, where we bind and we go straight. We open up here with the knee bent. That would be last tier standing. And then you do this one or this one. We'll skip it today because I want to do the quality boat and the bridge or the wheel. Okay, I want a good amount of time for that and then give you a stretch or two. So you either go yogi squat or a forward bend just to take it down. You could take a whole sun salutation if you want. Just remember that boat into
boat into bridge is a sun salutation, let's say, okay? So I'm gonna bring you down to your buttocks when you're ready, and you can either go high boat, low boat. You can hold low boat, then high boat. You can do something like this. You know, I break this down in many forms. I want one solid hold. Think of it like a last plank. Okay, you're breathing here. One good, like,
Isolated abdominal exercise. And remember that planks really aren't that great for your abs. Side plank, it's just not going to hit those abs well. And I know we could all use a little bit more abs. So you get this hollow body, it's called the low boat. Last few, you know, I like pulsing. On any good day, I do the pulse in the low boat, little twist pulse. Nice little leg swing, little reverse crunch. I see a lot of you doing there. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then yogis, I want, you know, in Ashtanga, we do about 5 wheel poses, right? Now that can be a lot, but in some of the advanced realms, that's still not that many. So we're going to do our back bends here. And I do want to try to stay active. If you feel like you need stretchy back bends, you can. It's camel, bow are more stretchy. So is like a sphinx with a right hand behind you. A virasana is a stretchy back bend to sit on the heel, lean back. But if you got it in you today, let's do like 3 rounds as a bridge. I want a little extra of this today. This is classic ending. You do one-legged bridge or a block between your thighs if you feel a little better. If you feel really good, you do your wheel poses or your reverse planks, okay? They do both of those in Ashtanga, right? So you're doing wheel and reverse planks. Practice in Ashtanga is about an hour 45 usually. All right, looks good, everyone. This is our last active stuff, guys. So you can kind of, you know, put it all on the table. You put it all on your mat, and then we're going to be resting after this. Okay, you get a couple stretches. And there's always the suggestion, the end of the traditional, to put your legs up if you didn't get one of the big inversions. So shoulder stand or legs up the wall after this. So come on now, let's do it. Bridge or wheel if you got it. No big deal. A lot of you is doing your own thing. That's cool. 1 person, 2 people doing back bends with me, and that's fine. Yeah, it looks good. Nice. Yeah, a little one-legged bridge thrust where you're kind of going up and down in one-legged bridge. You can't go wrong there, guys. So good. I usually use bridge in my warm-up, right? Or up table. And if I'm feeling really good, you know, in the end, it's more like the one-legged hip thrusts, the reverse planks, a lot of wheels. Okay. So last, let's see where we're at with the time. Yeah, you get another 1.5 minutes, guys. Get into those back bends. Do a little bit extra if you can, the bridges. Just don't let those knees buckle out, all right? Press the big toe down more. And your heels should be relatively underneath your knees. Sometimes you get those feet too far forward. It's not wrong. It's just going to be a lot more strenuous. Nice, Brian. Get that good wheel in. The yogis say, what do they say when you're, you know, sometimes that 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock little tired fatigue sets in. They say you can, you know, instead of having coffee, you do wheel poses or you take a cold shower. Those are the natural adrenaline spikers that's what the coffee does, right? It's yeah, a little adrenaline release. So yogis, I want to save a little extra time for stretching, even though we did a ton of stretching. You know, it's always nice to have a few to unwind with. So your last good 40 seconds here. 1 more round if you got it. Well, a couple of us look like we're still going. Nice, Dawn. Reverse plank. Nice, Brian. Still going. Nice, Kathy. All right, so we went through a lot of these classic yoga forms today, right? Side planks, wheel, and locusts, and the bridge, the wheel here, to bridge and the boat to end. So a couple of nice stretches. You can really do anything you want. I think we did enough straddle forward fold, but if you want to do a frog or a butterfly, that's different than triangle and straddle forward fold. Another nice one could be obviously a pigeon. I think hamstrings are good. You don't need any more of those. You do all three triangles. Quadricep might be good. I mentioned frog in the back bend. I called it Sphinx with the bind. It's this one here. So it might be a really good one. Okay. Frog, Gomukhasana, Sukhasana, laying on your back, figure four, and or medial rotation, this one. So remember, it's kind of free practice day. You got time for a hip release or maybe two, okay? So what does your body need right now? You can't do them all every day. So you got to kind of make a logical decision based on where your body's at. I've been doing it my left psoas. I strained it. I've been playing basketball lately just to kind of switch it up on my body. And it's like fast movements and it's hand-eye coordination practice. So I've been playing a little competitive basketball, played a couple games yesterday, and I have this like strain in my left psoas. I've been jamming, things in there to massage it out. It will not release. So I'd probably be working into that space right now. I've been doing frog a lot lately. I've been doing the Anjaneyasana lizard lately to try to get this muscle to release. The straddle with the lateral bend. It's still not releasing. Sometimes I take a couple months. What's a stretch you don't really do much of ever? Maybe you do that one. Remember, camel can, if you did a strong back bends, even something like camel can be a really big stretch. That's another one for the hip flexors and the anterior tilters. Okay. Now, usually what happens is you get a hip opener, right? And then you get like a core releaser. So you could use something like a reclining spinal twist, a seated spinal twist. You could do plow, swing your legs up over your body and your back. You can also just sit up and reach for your toes. We did that, but we didn't really hold that one where the feet are together and you reach for your toes. Another core release could be restorative bridge or restorative fish, blocks under you somewhere. So there's some food for thought for your next level of release. You kind of hit legs, then you run up through core. Nice. Looks good, everyone. So you're here in the end, right? It's just like the last couple unwinding positions and poses that make you feel good here to close. Okay. Now I mentioned closing up with legs up. Like say I mentioned headstand, I mentioned handstand, forearm stand, and those are really aggressive forms of yoga. And if you don't get to do those regularly, you can either put your legs up the wall, you could put your block on under your butt and legs up either on the wall or just in the air. You could put a strap around your feet to hold them up there. The idea is to elevate the legs. That's a nice closer. Also chanting, laying on your back, doing some breath holds. Some of you know, I mentioned it like one time last week. I have always done a breath holding practice, but I've been trying to give it structure in the morning now. So what I try to do is about 6 minute and a half breath holds. So I'm holding my breath for about 9 minutes. I didn't get there this morning. I'm going to try to do some here as my day goes. I did 2 rounds this morning. So I've created some structure where I'm trying to like have a way I do the breath holds just holds me accountable because I've been slacking a little lately. So adding breath holds is my point. You getting a couple breath holds is really good for you. Lung capacity, strength, especially with a respiratory virus still on the loose. So yogis, I want you to take another minute to 2 max here. We're already about 9:56. I want you to unwind, close up your physical practice is how I like to put it. So you can just end in the calming state. Remember, exercise causes inflammation, irritation, and acidity. We want to calm all that. We know we can have the anti-inflammatory, the alkaline response, okay? By just calming for a few minutes. Slowing your heart rate is the main thing, which calms your nervous system, parasympathetic, okay? So it looks like a lot of you are already in Shavasana. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes total. We'll go like 2-3 minutes max over today. So you take another minute, you get into your Shavasana, so you have a good at least 3 to 4 minutes, okay? So closing meditation when you're ready, and you can do it on your own, that's fine too.